This conference will now be recorded.
We can start.
Okay, sure. Hey guys, good morning, good evening. Welcome back. And as we have discussed yesterday, so today also we'll have some of the practical lab today. We'll see some of the stuff what we covered yesterday regarding the people and the group. Before we start off, any doubts or anything you want to ask, or we can just move forward with the next topics.
Yeah, like the previous class, like you explained like the people, like so adding the people and adding the groups and stuff like that, right? So maybe today, maybe we can understand more while we are doing practical, I think.
Right, yeah, sure. Okay, then I'll just quickly share my screen. Just let me know once it's visible. Is it visible, guys?
Yeah, yes, visible.
Okay. Okay. So yesterday we just saw like what all types of people or group we have in Okta. So we did discuss about this slide that we have different types of like one is Okta groups and one is directory mastered groups and the other is the application groups coming in from Okta into Okta, and all of these are stored in a single source of truth that is like your universal directory of Okta. So anything coming from anywhere gets saved in your universal directory. Now next we'll just start off with the user states or statuses, and this is something I think you might have if you might remember that these status did come along when your accounts were activated. So let's just try to understand each of them. So basically pending activation or provision. So this was one of the status which you guys like saw. It's like it's not pending activation now this status has been used as pending user action, but like they are both the same thing. So you might have seen when I created your account in Okta and you got an email. So till the time you didn't activate your email, your account was in the user pending state, I mean the pending user action state. Or we can say it as the provision state. The reason being because your account has been created in Okta but it is not yet active. So that's why like your account has been provisioned. Provision is something like in very simple terms, if someone has to explain what provision is, it's just like creation or deletion or of accounts, users, identities, anything. So basically whenever when we are going to use the word provision, you can it could be user provisioning. So if it is user provisioning, that means your users are getting provision that is added. If it is user deprovisioning, that means your users are getting deleted or disabled. If it is application provisioning, then it's like your application is getting onboarded into Okta or added into Okta. If it's application deprovisioning, then it's like application is getting deactivated from Okta. So like provisioning is simple term, like to add something into the Okta or any other identity management tool, I mean IAM tool, and based on like whether it's user, whether it's identity, whether it's application, based on that we can understand okay what type of provisioning we are doing here. So basically coming back to that, the first state that we have, like the pending activation or the provision, their new account has been created in Okta but it is not yet active, so it applies to all the accounts activated through JIT also. So we did cover this concept of JIT, that is the just-in-time provisioning, yesterday. And so any accounts which are activated through either JIT, because you might be remembering I did mention yesterday that accounts which are created through JIT, right, that is just-in-time provisioning, they do not receive activation email. And in case of the accounts which are directly created in Okta, you must be remembering that you guys got an activation email to activate it. So the reason being because like the JIT, it automatically creates your account in the application, and you don't require, I mean in Okta, and you don't require any activation email. But still, like what happens over there is like your account is active but it's like in uh, like one-time password expiry mode. So what will happen is on the very first time when you log in, although your account is active, but you still have to go ahead and change your password. So that's what pending activation is all about. Then you have staged, I mean, we can just go ahead and see the stuff about pending activation, but let's move ahead. I mean, it's pretty simple as what we, what we are seeing here. So the staged status is like, the account has been created through the API, but it is not yet active. So if you go back to the Okta screen, right? So over here there are accounts which are created, but they are not yet active. Okay, so those accounts you can say as staged. Now there are two use cases, which can come in staged. One could be that, when, for example, you are working for an organization and you might have left the organization, so they don't want your account to be, or for example, you might be on a, like, someone is on a maternity leave maybe. So there could be a possibility that the organization doesn't want, that ID to be active, but at the same time they cannot deactivate it because that employee is still the part of this organization, right? So what they can do is that they can uh, move the account to the staged environment. Like if there is no activity found on this account for like more than 60 days or 90 days, they'll automatically move this, to the staged status. So that's what, like, one of the use case of stage status is, like, the account is there in Okta, it's not in the active state, it's not in the deactivate state, it's not even in the disabled state. I mean, staged is somewhat like disabled only. The reason being because the user cannot do anything on, the system. Like they cannot access anything on for any of the environment of their organization. So that's why stage is something like, your account. And also, like, for you have your service accounts. Now service accounts are something like, if you want to, maybe work on a project wherein, you don't require real identities to, actually go in, because maybe you're working for your client and the client requires only the service accounts to be configured, because you will develop the project and you will go away, so you don't want your identities to show up, because in the logs and all your identity will come up like, okay, Vibhor made this changes, but Vibhor already developed and went away, so why Vibhor? So that's where this service accounts concepts comes into picture. They have like high privileges sometimes, like, service accounts have high privileges. They're being used to, actually make connections and, do stuff and all. So in those scenarios, sometimes it's required that, your accounts are created through an API, and then like once the project is done or stuff like that, at that point of time you can just, make them as staged. Yeah. So that's what, like, these two statuses are. Active is very simple. Well, like, your accounts, all your accounts are in the active state, so that makes sense. Pending user action we already saw, right? So this is again in a pending user action. Then password reset. So like, for example, someday you come in, you have forgotten your password, you don't remember it, and, you don't have, like, although there is an option to, like, for the end user to reset their password on their own, but if in case, like, you are not able to do so, so at that point of time you can request the admin to, go ahead and reset your password. And if, like, for example, if I want to, I mean, not mine to be honest, but let's try to do it for someone else. So yeah, reset your password. So I get to see two options over here. One is through a password link, or other is the temporary password. So this password link is something like, it is sent to the user's primary email. So a link will be sent to the email, to your email, to the user's primary email, and from there they can, just update the password. Or I can just generate a temporary password. A password will be shown to me over here, and I can just, copy paste that password to the end user, whosoever is trying to log in, and they can just log in, and on the very first go they have to, go ahead and update their password or change their password. So that's what it is. This is like the password reset. You see that, my account here is in the password reset mode, the previously activated account is in the password reset mode. So what
So
happened over
once
here? Yeah, go
once
ahead.
you click once you click the user, you get the reset password, or how it is, like how you
Like,
got
yeah,
that.
if you click on a particular user, right? So see, yesterday I told you, right, that this is the user ID which is identified by Okta, and now you can do anything. Like, you can just go ahead, reset the multi-factor, you can just go ahead, reset the password, You can do all kind of a stuff. You can suspend the user, you can deactivate the user, you can just view the logs of the user. What is this user doing? When is it user doing? Like everything about this user can be identified if you go to that user and click on it. So what are the applications assigned to this user? What are the groups assigned? If it is a an Okta master profile, so that you get this option to edit. If it would have been AD, then you wouldn't have got this option to edit. So yeah, if you go click on the user, you'll get that option.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. So then we have the logged out state, that is the account has been logged based on the logged out function. So see, we are going to see the password policies in the coming days. And for example, I'll just, just to give you a brief, I can just show you something. If you go back now, over here, you have the option to add the password policy. Now over here, you can, just like you would already be working somewhere, or even if you're not working, and so you would have come across like on various social media websites or somewhere, you need to set your password, and you cannot set like your name, just like, okay, I have just set my password as Vibhu, it won't take, or you're just setting it as 123 546. So like simple passwords are not recommended, and you're not able to save them. So behind that, there is a logic of password policy, like which says that you need to match, like match certain criteria. If you're matching all of them, then only you are able to set your password. So it could be like it should be 16 characters, lowercase, uppercase, maybe a number, any kind of a symbol we get right, like a special character is required, stuff like that. It does not contain a part of a username. Username is your, like that like for me it's Vibhu G6 Vibhu 4405. So whatever it is for you, it does not contain a part of it, and it should not contain first name, last name, and stuff like that. So if I'm trying to set something like Vibhu 123, at that point of time I'll get an error saying, because it contains the part of my username, it does not contain special characters. So whatever I create a password policy over here, accordingly my password will be set. Now we were talking about the lockout option, right? So in the lockout option, there is a, you can see that we are we are tick marking that option, that lock out the user if the user has already attempted 10 unsuccessful attempts. So you would have noticed or realized that for example, your banking account, so if in case you try to enter that maybe wrong password for more than 3 times, your account is locked, right? So you cannot access your account for another 1 day or stuff like that, or maybe you need to call your bank. So over here as well, it's the same, like you can just like I can change it to maybe 2 or 3, whatever, it's 10 by default. I'm not doing anything right now, but yeah. So that's what the lockout is. Like if you have entered your credentials like like wrong more than 10 times or 5 times or whatever the password policy says, then your account will go in the lockout state. So at that point of time, like you cannot do anything with your account. You won't be able to log into the account. Then we have the password expired mode. That is like your account password has been expired. So like it's very simple. Like whenever it's in the password expired mode, at that point of time, you just need to create an account. I mean, you just need to log in. I mean, either you need to do a password reset, and you can just reach out to the admin to do that. At that point, the admin will help you with the the link or the temporary password, and you can just reset your password. So that's how it is. Then we have the suspended.
But excuse me,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
how password can be expired? Means under what condition?
Okay. So what happens is like over here now when we are talking about the organizations, right? So for social media apps or any other apps, there is not a policy which is written that your password will never expire. Like if you have not forgotten your password, then there is nothing like that it will expire. Okay. But over here in the organizations or in the IT industry, it's like that 99%, or I mean I would say 90% of the big organizations, for MNCs, like for multinational organizations, it's like almost all of them have a password policy saying that you need to change your password after 2 months or 1 month or 3 months. Like that is the duration which is being, decided by the organizations themselves. But they have a criteria that you need to change your password after 2 or 3 months. And in fact, like for your Gmail, also for Facebook, any social media account, or any platform which you are using on internet, it is recommended that you should change your password after every 1 or 2 months. But what happens over there is that there is not a policy written behind it. So even if you are not changing, nothing is happening. But for the organization, what is happening is, if you're not changing after 2 months, like for example, the organization have set a limit of that for after 2 months, if you're not, like every 2 months in the like passes by, you need to change your password. And if you're not doing that, your password will be expired. So whatever your password was before, now you cannot use that to log in. Or like what will happen is that when you will try to log in with it, automatically you'll be prompted like that, this is your old password, maybe please go ahead and set your new password or stuff like that. So that becomes like your password is expired.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Then we have the suspended state. So like users can log into Okta and receive a message indicating that they are suspended. The Okta login is blocked for apps that support SAML. So suspended state is something like, it could also be, for example, like one of the use cases when you don't require certain users to access certain things. So at that point of time, like you just need to make sure that the account is suspended in Okta. So what will happen is users will be able to log in into Okta, but they won't be able to log into any of the application which supports SAML. So like we have already seen that we have different applications over here, and so none of them will be able to access the applications like okay, I don't have it right now, but yeah, I mean, if I would be having an application, so I won't be able to access it because my account is in the suspended state. Then finally, it's last the deactivated state. So it's simple as the term suggests, like the account has been deactivated in Okta, or deactivated or deleted from a directory service. So like it could be a scenario wherein if in case your account, like if in case Okta is integrated with Active Directory or any other LDAP directory, or maybe directly in Okta itself, if you talk about. So I just go ahead and deactivate the user. So for example, I won't deactivate. I mean, yeah, I can just show about the. So we can just go and deactivate the user. Also, we can suspend the user. So I'll just deactivate the user, and nothing can be done by this user after that. So like this user will just go away. Although it will show in my logs. So now when I've deactivated the user, I get to see this delete option. Until unless I don't deactivate the user, I don't get to see this delete option. The reason being because now it's like it's up to the organization. Like some organizations have the policy that no, we'll keep our employee data, like whosoever has left us also, we are happy to keep their data. Some are like no, we don't require them, just go ahead and delete it. So accordingly, Okta has created it like if you want to activate, or I mean if you want to deactivate or delete it, we can take that decision. But we cannot delete it before deactivating it. Like you cannot just go ahead and deactivate the user uh, directly. I mean, delete the user directly. You need to deactivate the user and then delete it. And same goes for the apps also. Like even in the applications now, you need to like deactivate the application. Over here in the applications, you might have seen till now that you were trying to deactivate. So this becomes your inactive applications. You haven't deleted it them till now. Now you can delete it, because until unless you don't deactivate stuff in Okta, you cannot delete it. So that's how Okta is designed. So make sure that if in case like you are being asked to delete something, then deactivate and delete. If you're just being asked to disable or deactivate, then there is no concept of delete in that scenario. Okay. So yeah, any doubts, like anything? I mean, it's like a little bit theoretical only, like this people. Now I was thinking to have some practical session. Now what we are going to do is to add
Uh,
people. Yeah, go ahead.
um, where you set up that number of attempts and characters and for password reset kind of thing. How
It
you
comes
where
in
you
security authentication tab.
security and authentication
No.
authenticator.
Okay.
Security and authenticator, right?
Authentication, yeah.
I see authenticators or something.
Yeah, authentication would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Authentication. Okay. I see authenticators, right? I didn't see authentication.
Okay. I mean, if you go in, what do you see?
Once I go into authenticator, setup and enrollment.
I think you're not on the. Are you going to security authentication itself?
Yeah, security. I went to security and it shows like authenticator. Can I share my screen? And
I'll just ping you one link. Just try to use this link.
now I have created my own this one, right?
Okay.
I downloaded my own.
Yeah, yeah. Then you can just share maybe.
Sharing it is asking. To share your screen, ask your organizer to make a presenter.
Okay.
I'm unable
Yeah.
to like it. Yeah. Okay. Got it. I'm able to share it. See, you are able to see. Are you able?
I think it is not a developer account.
Yeah. Also, if you go to Okta sign-on policy,
Where is that sign on?
Okta sign-on below authenticators.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can you just click on add a new Okta sign-on policy?
I don't know.
No, I think. Yeah, I think it's not like your. It's not a developer's account. It's like an admin console, I think. Maybe can you switch?
Admin console, like
No, actually, there we need to create a developer's account to see whatever we are seeing on our screens. No worries, I'll send you the link for that, and you can just go ahead and create it. Although this is not, I mean, this is something which we are going to discuss in detail, like the security, I mean, the policy stuff. So maybe you can, just configure it later.
okay, okay, sure. Send me the link. I will down. I will again create it. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Yeah, stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm just sending the link on the chat.
Okay. Okay. So it is asking username and password. I need to create.
Okay, let's. Yeah, sure.
Ahead.
Just create it, yeah. Okay. Okay, so what I was trying to say, like what I was discussing was that we can just go ahead and try to create some accounts today using a CSV file. Whatever we were doing till now, I was using, like if I needed to add a user over here, I was just going in and, adding it, like just giving the first name, last name, and the mandatory details and stuff like that. But now the stuff is, for example, over here, maybe you are a big organization and around 100 users have been added in a single day. Now you cannot just go ahead and add 100 times no over here, like add person, okay, done. So in those scenarios we have either two options: either we just go ahead and create it using an API, or we do it using a CSV. Okay, so now if you just go over here, right, in more actions, import users from CSV, So there is a template which you need to follow. You cannot just directly upload your CSV file over here, because Okta need to understand like Okta needs to have all the username or the attributes in that format, right? So that is the reason behind that. So you can just use this template, like format your CSV file according to this template, and a file template will be downloaded. If you just go into the template, you will see that you get to see these multiple attributes over here for Okta, like your login, first name, last name, middle name, like your email, title, display name, nickname, like all the default attributes with whatever we have in Okta. You will be able to view it in this Excel file. Okay, now if I want to create a user, maybe a test user, maybe something like, let's go ahead and create test 2 users. So test user 1 or maybe 2 @ something nonsense.com, like email IDs don't matter over here. So maybe this test user 2 middle name, I'm not giving any middle name. You, if you want, you can give any of it. Maybe title is test CSV, and display name nothing, profile URL nothing, second email no, mobile number anything, maybe something. I'll just just for the sake of giving it, I'll give. Then primary phone no, street, I mean, if you like, what happens is, like, because currently we are just seeing the demo, so we don't need to have all of them. But for example, if you're talking about the real case scenarios, in those scenarios, definitely, like for a user, all of this information is captured, like whenever you fill an organization's form, or whenever you are working for an organization, they do ask all about these things, like your address, city, phone number, and email, secondary email, your alternative emails, display name, and stuff like that. So that's why organizations have all of this data. They are just going to go come here and copy paste the row as per the format, and that will be it. Like we don't have, they don't have to worry about it after that. Then the state, zip code, country code, and so on and so forth. Like if you have something, you can just go ahead and give it, like manager. If maybe I'll just give my name as the manager over there, and let's just try to save it. Or maybe let's go ahead and create 2 users together. Also, primary emails need to be exactly, I mean, they need to be unique. If they are same, then it will be an issue, because it won't take it. So, and maybe anything. Oh, so yeah. Okay, so let's just save this, and I'll just try to go back and browse it, and then now it is trying to parse the CSV file, I mean read the CSV file, and once it will do it, it will just show if we can just go ahead and do the, or create it from the CSV file. In the meanwhile, if you guys also want to do it, like just go ahead and try it at your end as well. And yeah, I mean, like as the limit suggest over here, you can just maximum do about 10 MB. Like the file size cannot be more than 10 MB, and you cannot have more than 10,000 users added together. Like that is the maximum limit. So now we have it. Let's just try to import. So over here, when we are trying to import users, right, so it says like automatically activate the new users, or do not create a password and only allow login via identity provider. So if we, like, it's like as the sentence suggests itself, like automatically activate the new users. So whenever, because those 2 users are going to be new users in Okta, so I can just directly activate them. Or I have an option that do not create a password and only allow login via identity provider. So if in case these accounts are coming from an external identity provider, so like think of it that Okta right now might not be acting as an identity provider. It could be that you have an identity provider configured within Okta. Okay, so in those scenarios, user will not be sent an activation email or an Okta password, so they'll be using that. Like for example, maybe Google is authentic, I mean created as an identity provider in Okta. So then in those scenarios, Google's password or username will be used, and you don't need to create a password over here in Okta. But we don't have that scenario right now, so just let's just go ahead and Okta automatically activate the new user. And now, okay, now I think we got some errors. Let's try to see the errors. Okay. Okay, I haven't filled the email field, and that is the reason. Here's the email. Okay, I need to fill this, otherwise it won't, allow me to create a user, because this is like a mandatory field which we need to have. Okay, so let's just go ahead and fill the email part. And let's try to save it now and then go back to Okta. And again, let's try to import it. And now do next, automatically activate new users and import it. Yeah, now we have got, those two users imported from the CSV file into Okta. Now if I go in, I can see that, I have test user 2, test user 3, and if I go in for any of the test user and go to the profile to check, so I can see that, I have like all those stuff, whatever I gave in my CSV file. And yeah, like the manager or the mobile number, these are all hard-coded values being done. So but yeah, I mean, we have already set the values from the CSV file, and we were able to bring them into Okta. So that's like one way of importing users in Okta. Like any doubts or anything you want to ask, I'll just pause up here for a moment.
So can you show me one more time the Excel sheet, the format?
Hello?
Not talking.
I'm not able to hear you because there's a lot of lag. Maybe you can type your query in the chat.
In the CSV file, if I want to activate all the users, then where will I give the password for them?
Sorry, what if? I didn't understand.
In the CSV file, if I want to activate all the users, then where will I assign the password for them?
No, there would be an email going to these users. We have already set the username. I mean, we have already set the primary email, no? So they would have to activate them. So these accounts are activated, but it's like that, there would be a link provided in the email, and when they'll go, it's not they have like, see the email link which you would have got, it was like activate your account. These people will be getting like log into your account. They won't be getting an email saying activate your account. So once they log in, they will just, be redirected to the page where they have to set their password, and that will be it.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
So how you got this format, sir? Like based on the fields, how we are entering while creating the user, the same way, whatever you are filling, we'll put those fields in the Excel and upload it, right?
Right.
Because how you are getting this Excel format, right? A template.
Yeah, so if you go to more actions and import user side, so there is an option to according to this template. This is an hyperlink and this is the Excel template, CSV template, I mean. So you can just download it from here. If you just click it, file will be downloaded.
Can attributes be added in CSV file? Can attributes be added in CSV file?
Can you please type? I'm sorry, there's a lot of background noise. I'm not able to understand. Was it like can active users be added in the CSV file?
So here we are filling only that the login and test name and username and those three columns, right?
Yes. I mean, they are mandatory columns. That's why I just added those, but it's not necessary. You can add anything, whatever you feel like. No. So
I don't have the official version of Excel,
okay.
so I can't modify anything in. So do I need the MS Office for that?
Right. I mean, I'm you can just yeah. I mean, like you need to have a office like maybe free trial license can also work because you just need to edit the CSV file and then just upload it. That's what the like the role of
Yeah, it will not allow me to enter anything in that CSV file.
oh,
Yeah.
can you, like are you able to open it in the Excel? Like, do you have that application or what is the error you're getting?
No. I download that file, but
Okay.
it will open in Microsoft Excel, but I don't have that license version. So it will not allow me to type anything in that. So I have that Open Office, that another version. So
Okay.
I do in that and upload it.
Yeah,
Right.
you can. Mhm.
Okay, I will try.
Sure, sure, go ahead. Also, yeah.
I pinged you that I got the DAV number different, like 6884158. You can, I pinged you that what ID. I created a dev account and it gave me like, HTTPS dev 6884158, not 54007494. You got right.
Yeah, yeah, everyone would be, I think, like anyone creating a new account would be getting a new ID over here. So this is your new account you created today?
Yeah, just now I logged into this account and, I
Okay.
created this one, but it
Okay.
is saying same authenticators. Maybe what
Okay.
I'm doing wrong. I just put that the URL, whatever I put it in the chart, that, so it is giving the same thing, like authenticators.
Can you create my account here in Okta for your instance? You
Which
just
one
need to
you
go.
want?
Yeah, I can only troubleshoot it, right? Like you can just go ahead and create an account for me like I did for you guys. You can just go in and just add a user over here directly, add a person. This is my email ID.
Add a person. Okay. What is your what on name? I can put something, right?
Yeah, yeah, anything. And just put my email ID so that I get that. Okay, Dheeraj, one thing you were asking, right? Like, can new attributes can be added? New attributes cannot be added directly from CSV. They need to be added in Okta first. Like, if you are trying to, create a custom attribute, so in that scenario, you need to have that custom attribute created in Okta, and then you can, use leverage CSV and automatically, like for example, you have already created a custom attribute here in Okta. So like for example, custom attribute already created in Okta. So in that scenario, you'll have this attribute already included in CSV. So that's how it is like, but you cannot directly, go ahead and like write something. For example, you can like let's try, but I'm pretty sure that this won't work. You cannot directly go to the this file and like for example, if I maybe write something like mm, anything, for example, department. Because we already have this, but yeah, I mean, maybe we don't have this name. Okay, so yeah, I'm just adding this, and let's try to just add something like maybe cyber, and let's try to save and try to import it. No, although we have
Sir,
this account.
I created your account and you may be seeing, I think, in your email.
Okay, okay, just give me a second. I'll just complete this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we are just trying to, create a new department, like an attribute which does not exist in Okta right now. We are just trying to create an attribute over here and in CSV, and then, we are just trying to import that stuff in Okta. So let's go ahead and import it. Although we are definitely going to get an error because that attribute does not exist, but let's see it once. See, yeah, found. Okay, department is a duplicate header. Okay, maybe some cost center cost, or maybe just, just to show that it does not exist. Yeah. So invalid attribute, because this attribute itself, like at the moment it tried to pass the CSV, at that point of time itself, it understood that there does not exist any attribute with name cost. So at then and there, it will give us an error saying that you cannot do that stuff. And so yeah, I mean that's how, like from CSV we cannot do that. And also just I'll remove this, and I was trying to do. Okay. Yeah, if you want to ask something.
No, no, okay.
So also I was trying to do, like, this is, see, this is not just for creating the users. I already have a user created over here, right? So in that scenario, I have a user created. Now what happens is, like, if I go to the profile, now I have these. Now if there is some change in the user's profile, like I need to add or, delete, like currently I'm just changing this title value. So I can just go ahead and do this, and just, coming back over here, and again just try to import the, like, it's like importing the users. It's not like, importing only new users. So whatever changes has happened, or like modifications done to the user profile, or if there is a new user which is getting added, all of those changes will be accommodated over here. So that's how it goes. So if I just upload it and, do next, and finally just import the users, I don't want to select anything because I'm not adding. So I see one user imported because there was a change in one user, right? So now if I go back over here and, I just go to the profile, so I'll see that, my title has changed from test CSV1 to test CSV2. So you can also use, that CSV file to either change the, like, change the attributes as well. It's not just to, just add the new users. Okay, yeah, so that's how it is. Like, you can just ask me any doubts if you have regarding the CSV topic. And that's all we had for the CSV stuff. I just
If we are adding like 10 users in CSV, and what if I modify a few users in the CSV? Will it create a duplicate users every time I upload the same CSV file?
it will just modify the attribute.
So the users does not change.
Only new users will be added, and for the users already exist, and if it means that new change the attribute,
There is a lot of background noise.
yeah.
Yeah,
System
I
maybe.
cannot.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I mean, I was saying that no duplicate users will be created. Like for example, if you are having a situation wherein you are using CSV to add two new users and to modify two existing users. So in that scenarios, for existing users, attributes will be modified. For new users, users will be added. That's how it is.
Okay, so that we can modify the CSV file and keep on uploading every time whenever it's needed. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can you give me admin permissions?
So how to give admin permissions? Like,
If you go over here now in the security and then administrators, so you can just add an admin and give me as a super admin to my ID, whatever you have created.
add administrator. is showing. I go to administrator, it shows your my ID only. So I need to.
If you go to security administrators, no, over there you get these two options, add administrator. So there you can give
Add administrator.
just like write the name of my user ID which you have created, and then you can give
Okay, got it. Okay, so like a super administrator. Yeah,
super administrator.
yeah, I added.
Hmm. This doesn't seem to be Okta developer portal, although like you don't have profile environment. How did you create this account? Like the reason being because we need to have this as a developer console. So if I go in over here, no, like this is mine, no. So okay, if I go in over here in the dashboards, I get to see all these things. So there's something missing in on this domain because that's how it looks. This is how it should look like. So maybe something is missing.
Okay.
Can I just create your account here in my system? Like you can just use this, no?
Satya
Srinivas,
Srinivas. Yeah.
okay. What's your last name?
No, already you have, right? Satya Srinivas is there. My user is there.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So maybe can you use this one to log into this system?
Okay.
ठीक है. Okay. So I'll just move ahead with the other topic. So in case you have any doubts with the CSV, please let me know now, and we can just try to resolve them. Apart from that, this issue of this, I think Srinivas, this issue of the console, I think it's something I think you might have missed during the creation of the account. Maybe I can just quickly show tomorrow what exactly to do, like how to create it. I don't want to just because reiterate that we have already covered before, so that is why I'm just requesting you to please use that account over here, but we can just reiterate in tomorrow's session with like how do we create it and how do we land to the correct page. And I mean, yeah, that will be it. So any other doubt apart from these two, I mean these? Okay, then I'll take that as a no for the time being, and if in case you have any, please come up with them. Okay, so next we have what we have is about the groups. So now we have understood how to manage people. Although there is another way to add people, that is through an API, and that I think would be the most interesting stuff to add users, because in real-time scenarios, to be very honest, no one is going to use a CSV file to actually import users. You are I mean, CSV might come into existence because sometimes you get a dump from it's not just going to be Okta in the environment, it's going to be many other teams working on the IAM front. So sometimes other teams like which who are not responsible for whatever we are doing in Okta, they try to give you like Excel terms or stuff like that. So that in those scenarios, like your CSV is strong, but like still the most recommended way is to go through an API. I mean, like Okta APIs are actually very strong, like they are very strong products, and hence like most of the people, even like if you will start with Okta, you yourself would start recommending that let's go ahead and use APIs instead of using CSV or stuff like that. So we are going to see how to create a user using an API, how to modify the attributes, how to just get all the users, or stuff like that. So we have different Okta APIs to read the user properties, update them, delete them, deactivate them, modify them, and stuff like that, which we are going to see in detail maybe tomorrow in tomorrow's lab session. But for the timing, like now how to actually add a person, or using, I mean, manually, and how to do it through a CSV. Apart from that,
So,
yeah, go
sir,
ahead.
can you add me as a admin, right?
Yeah,
So that I can practice Excel upload.
yeah. Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
no problem. So yeah, so for people now, you just see like couple of things, like you can have reset passwords, or stuff like that. Over here currently, we don't have any of them. So let's just if in case you want to reset the passwords of the people who are logged out or stuff like that, currently you don't see anything, right? Like people are not logged out, or they are not in the password expiry mode, and hence when I click on this, I don't get to see anything. But if people are in the logged out mode, or you can just see all of them, in those scenarios you can just go ahead and reset the password. Like for example, me, I don't want to reset, actually I'm using my Gmail ID, so that's why. But like if in case you have that scenario, you can just do that. And then this is for multi-factor. So currently we don't have configured MFA policies for multi-factor, but I can just go ahead and do that reset. So it will just say reset multi-factor credentials for one people, but although it would not have done anything. The reason being because we haven't set any MFA right now, we haven't enrolled a multi-factor till now. So that's why we won't be getting anything on that front. But like, yeah, we are going to, when we'll be going to the security so there would be a multi-factor option, and we'll be configuring this, and at that point of time this becomes handy, like to reset the multi-factor of the people. So that's all what we have in the people tab. Let's go ahead and try to see what we have in the group stuff now. In groups we have couple of things to understand. One is all section, and the other is the rules section. All section is very simple, as what you see in the people so you can just add a group or add a people directly, right? So you were trying to add a people so you had that button of people, you just clicked on that, and you were able to add the person directly. In case of groups also, you can directly add it, like for example, this is the first group I'm creating, so maybe test group, and I can just save it. Now I can see that I have a test group. This is an Okta mastered group, and the only way to recognize it is this Okta symbol. Because like we are going to see that we can have various kinds of groups. Like, see, this is your Okta group, this is your Active Directory group, and these are your application groups. And hence I just mentioned that the way to recognize is, if you see this Okta symbol, that means that's your Okta group. If you see a Windows symbol, that means that's your Active Directory group. If you see the application symbol, that means that is your application group. That's how to recognize or segregate these groups. So just to cover the theoretical part, see, to access network-based services, including your emails, file servers, business apps, every user must be authenticated, and managing these user access individually is very time consuming and inefficient. So user groups can help you simplify user management, as changes to group access rights are automatically applied to all members of the group. So what it means is, like for example, like I can just create a group, and I can just go ahead and assign people to it. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and assign all of us maybe. So okay, okay, okay. Okay, so we all are assigned to this group now. Now what it means is, like, see, if I want to assign an application, so I can just go ahead and assign any of the, like maybe this app. So now I just assigned it. So now all 5 of us are assigned directly. I don't have to, go to the application and then manually assign each and every individual user. Like if I go in over here, I don't have to do this stuff like, okay, assign. I don't have to do that. I can see that, all 5 are assigned in below. And currently we are, talking about very small numbers, to be very honest. Like, we're just talking about 4 5. So you might think like, okay, like even if we had to do it manually, what's the harm? Like, what's the big deal? But it's a very big deal, because like when we're talking about in actual real-time scenarios, right? So in those cases, you're talking about 1 lakh identities, you're talking about 1.5 lakh identities, you're talking about 10,000 identities, or maybe 500 people getting onboarded every day, being joining the firm every day, maybe 700 people leaving the firm every day. So then these numbers become very big, and then you cannot do all of this stuff manually, and hence like we have these options to like manage them effectively using groups. Now, groups are important tools for identity management systems, and group data typically resides in a directory. So this is going to like these groups are going to reside in a universal directory of Okta. So most applications support groups either at the application level or within the application. So like, see, this is something not very new. I mean, I'm sure you would be knowing about groups, right? So even in WhatsApp, you have WhatsApp group. Even on Facebook, you used to have a Facebook. You can create a group. Even on Instagram, you can create a group. So like this is like why do we create a group? Because we create a group like if in case you are broadcasting a message or doing something, you don't want to individually manage it, right? Like individually, if you want to send some festival blessings or messages, you don't want to individually go to each and every and do it. Like you might do it, but like for example, you just want to forward a message, so you don't want to individually do it. So you'll just create a broadcast group and just send that broadcast everywhere. So it'll just save your time, right? So that is exactly the concept of group is all about here in Okta as well. Although like there is a little bit more to what we just discussed. I don't want to touch that topic for the timing, but what I was trying to say is like if in case there are scenarios here in Okta wherein groups are created based on the permissions. So like for example, you are integrating an application, just try to understand this thing. If in case you don't get it, don't worry, because we are going to discuss this thing again when we are going to talk about provisioning stuff. But currently for the timing, you can think of it like you are going to integrate an application, and in that application you are going to have 2 types of users. One would be your administrators and the other would be the normal users. So in those scenarios, what application team wants is that, hey, Okta guys, please help us with the different groups. Like people who should be our like application normal users should be in the Okta normal groups, and people who are application administrators should be created as Okta administrator groups. So we'll create 2 groups over here, one administrator, one normal. Maybe I can just one admin group, and the other would be the normal group. Now what will we do is like we'll add accordingly, like people who should be in the admin panel, maybe we'll just add like couple of them for the time being. So we'll just add 2 people for the time being. These are admin, and we'll just add other 2 people in maybe yeah, over here. So these becomes normal end users. Okay, now if you go back now, so now you have 2 people in the admin group, 2 people in the normal group. Now what you want is that you want these 2 groups to be exported to the application with like, so for example, if I go over here, I see that Swamini and Sukanya are the members of this group. Okay, so whenever Swamini or Sukanya is trying to log into the application, like just let's associate this like one application to this. So we are just given one application, and we'll give the same application to normal group as well. So maybe this. Okay, so now if you go back, no, so we have 2 like admin group and the normal group. So now if Swamini or Sukanya tries to access this application, that is Pranjal web app, so in that scenario we are going to do some configurations over here which will send the group name to the application. Now it's up to the application to recognize, to understand, okay, this user is coming from this group name, please show them this end user dashboard or the login page or the screen. Like even here, if we talk about Okta, right, if you are an admin, so if you're not an admin, you don't get to see this button, right? If you're an admin, you get to see this button. So that's how like other applications also operate. They might not have an admin for all of them. So if they'll understand, okay, I got an I mean, in the assertion, in the SAML assertion, Okta will be sending this person is coming from this group. If it is an admin group, this button will be enabled automatically on the application side. If it is not coming from an admin group, that end user won't see that. So this is the concept of provisioning, to be honest, but like this is achieved through groups. That is why, you know, I just mentioned this topic currently. I mean, if in case you are like kind of, you know, confused with this thing, it's fine. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Although you haven't seen that, okay, how did it manually happen over there? Although we might not be able to achieve this also, because our objective is to send the group in the assertion so that application team can read, and that is something we are going to do. We'll see it in our like, you know, when we'll do provisioning, that how can we achieve that stuff. So that's all, like, you know, for the time being, I think that's all we have in under the group sections as well. Rules is something very important, so I don't want to touch it today because we are well above the time. So I don't want to, you know, touch this topic, so because it will take some time. So let's just stop here for the moment for today's class. So we have just understood, like, you know, what are how do we add people, how do we add people through CSV, and how do we add groups. Just remember that this is like a default group. Any user added in Okta will automatically be added in the everyone group, so we don't need to worry about this group. But apart from that, any other group, whatever we see here, we can either, you know, create the group ourselves, assign people directly, or through APIs. We are going to see how to do it through APIs, and, you know, also write rules. Just to give you a background, rules are something which will determine, like, whenever maybe your user is created, so you can write a rule that, okay, you know, this user should be added to this group automatically. So stuff like that is something, you know, we are going to discuss tomorrow. I'll show you guys, you know, how do we do all of that here in Okta. And also we are going to use the Postman to leverage Okta API. So just to, you know, let you know that Postman is, you know, this is the tool which we are going to use. You can either have the web version or the client installed application. Like, I have the installed application with me, but if in case you don't have it, I mean, it's not necessary that you need to have it on your system. If you don't have it, it's fine. If you have it, great. If you don't have it, you can directly use it on the web version as well. Like over here, if you type Postman now, so you can just log in directly over here. So I would request, just sign up over here, like, you know, just create your account on Postman for tomorrow, because you know, it's going to be like easy for us to just go ahead and like do the API stuff. I would, like, you know, request everyone to go ahead and work on the API stuff with me tomorrow. Let's not just listen, let's like try to do it, because APIs is very important part, and if you guys can do labs with me directly on the APIs, it will be great. So yeah, that's it for now, and if you guys have any doubts or queries, just, you know, let me know before we close off.
So you created a normal users and admin users, right, sir? What is the difference? Like right now, you didn't set up any rules, right? Like both are
Yes.
same.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to, you know, help you understand that there is a concept like, you know, of provisioning, wherein, like, you know, right, like, what is the difference between an end user and an admin user? Admin have high privileges, I mean, higher access to the system, and normal users doesn't have that. So in those scenarios, sometimes what happens is, when you are doing a SAML integration, so because you are getting authenticated from Okta, now application team doesn't know, because see, if the user would have directly been authenticated by the application itself, they would have known, okay, this is my admin user, let's, you know, after login, let's move this to this particular endpoint page, I mean the admin page. And if there would have been a normal user, it would have read it and understood, okay, I need to move this to the end user page. Now since this verification or authentication is done by Okta, application team is confused. Like, application is confused, where should I redirect it? I don't know about this. So in those scenarios, application request Okta, please help me with the group name. Like I will also, like, application is going to, you know, help Okta that these 5 people are my admin, these 100 people are my normal users. So while anyone is trying to log in, send from which group they are coming from. If they are coming from admin group, I will redirect them to the admin page. If they are coming from end user group, I will redirect them to the end user page. So that's what the concept is I was talking about. This is like, you know, we just have to make sure that we are sending the group names in the SAML assertion. So that is something we will see later. But yeah, that is something I was just trying to explain on the groups concept, because it is achieved through groups. This use case can only be achieved through groups in Okta.
Okay. And one more question. You are showing one PowerPoint, like a master PowerPoint or something. So can you share with us, or you already shared in that?
I'm not sure about this. Rakesh can help you on this, like Rakesh from Digi Appreciates. You can connect with him to, you know, understand this shape. I mean, this PowerPoint presentation. I cannot directly, I mean, I'm not allowed to directly share it with anyone. So you can just connect with Rakesh. He'll help you, you know, get it. He has this file with him.
So Rakesh, okay.
Yeah, Rakesh from Digi Appreciates.
Okay. Oh, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, then anything else you guys have? Okay, then I think we are good to close for today. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one. Take care.